If you've ever come into a meeting like scrambling and running around like, oh my God, sorry, I'm late. I got back-to-back meetings. I've got a hard stop at X amount of time. This conversation, the ideas that we're going to put out in front of you is probably going to benefit you in some way. So what we're going to be talking about is how to make your calendar work for you, and the way to make your calendar work for you, not the other way around, is strategically selfish scheduling. And I came upon this little idea or this framework as a result of like trying to figure out how to spend more time doing the things that brought me fulfillment, the things that helped me contribute my gifts and talents to like the greatest degree. Because like for real, I was overwhelmed and stressed and irritated and frustrated because of all the things that I had going on in my life. And I was always running, sprinting from meeting to meeting to meeting, just like fingers crossing. Oh my God, please, nothing go wrong. No trains, no traffic lights, no flat tires. And I hope I don't need gas, because any disruption to what was on my schedule meant the rest of the day was going to be a disaster. And it wasn't because I didn't know how to use my calendar or because I didn't know how to organize and plan. It was because I was overcommitted. And worst of all, the overcommitment was 100% self-imposed. And a lot of the things, like the stuff that was really important, the human beings, the relationships, the responsibilities that I had nothing to do with work. They actually got the least amount of attention. And then me, I was like, my personal growth, my professional growth, skill building, so forth, was way down at the bottom of the barrel. We're talking about strategically selfish scheduling. And there's three things that I want to put out in front of you, because in my brain, it is three different ways of thinking. Planning is one separate thing. Scheduling is a separate way of thinking. And then daily execution, daily domination is a totally different deal. And the problem is this is why I've broken it up, is when I sit down to plan, which means what are the things that I want to do? What is the impact I want to have in the world? What are the skills and experiences I want to build over the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever? All I got to do is get them out of my head and prioritize them. But what I like to do is, oh, I got one, and then I want to schedule it. And then I schedule like, oh, then I want to go do it. It's like, no. Those are three different things, three different thinking buckets. And so that's why I've broken it up that way. So strategically selfish scheduling. Yes, you can sign up for the workshop and get like the full deal, real deal with other amazing people that are working to do the damn thing. But you don't have to. I know people are going to say, like, why would you give it away? Why would you just tell people what all the secret sauce? Like, because I want to help people. And so what I'm going to share today is like the three main big rocks in the strategically selfish framework that you can actually do right now. Like, you can write it down or like take the notes and you can start doing the things. Of course, I have templates and everything else, but that's for a different discussion. And so the three main things is getting all of your commitments out of your head. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, because I know I'm going to make some of you nervous. You're like, oh my God, I don't know about that. And then after you get all of your commitments out of your head, then we put them in the Firebox, which is my spin on the Eisenhower Matrix, because I completely have practiced and understand the mental model of the Eisenhower Matrix. However, what has bugged me about it is it kind of gives generic recommendations of how to manage the things. So I just went another layer deeper in terms of like, okay, they're put in the different quadrants, and this is what you should do to like start building momentum and actually making things happen. And then we're going to talk about how precious, what do we actually value? I know a lot of us say we value our time, but I'm going to slap you in the face with a little idea, and we'll wrap up with that and then jump into the randomizer. And of course, there's going to be an after party. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to walk you through the framework so you can see it. You know what? And if you want to be like an ultra cheater, you won't break my heart. Like, take a snapshot so that you can like use this thing. Like, if you're a self-starter, you just like to make things happen and you don't like all the rigmarole and feeling like you're being sold, take a snapshot and start using this thing. Put it to work. I promise you, it will have a gigantic impact on your life. But again, we do this whole thing in the workshop. And so the strategically selfish scheduling is 100% about, now you have your big plan, you have your big idea, the objectives for the month, for the quarter, for the year, however long you're comfortable planning. Now I know what they are, and I prioritize them: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Once we've done that, once we've kind of gotten those ideas out of our head, we say, this is what we're going to accomplish. Then we got to put them in our calendar. And that's the hard part. Because all of a sudden, when we start going into our calendar, people find out, oh my God, my calendar is so packed with stuff that there is no room in there for me. And then there's another truth that they, you, us, we are not aware of, and it's compounding the problem. And the truth is this: in your calendar, if you use a calendar, and I don't care if it's like digital, like Microsoft or Google Calendar, or if you're like a daily planner calendar person, it doesn't matter. If you're actually using that, my money says all you have in there is your work commitments and maybe some of the appointments that you have with your family and the ball games and stuff, which means there's a whole bunch of other commitments in your brain that is not in the calendar. And that's part of the problem, because you've got this mountain of commitments and you really have no idea how overcommitted you actually are. And so we're going to zoom in here, and this is step one. And you can run this exercise and kind of build up your anxiety right now while you're on the call. Step one is open up your calendar, whatever it is, right? Or if you just want to do a brain exercise, if you're on the deck like my buddy Jim Guntorius out there, what is on your calendar? Open it up and start. If you don't have sticky notes, this is a mural board. You could create stickies and do it in here digitally. But anyways, open it up and write down everything that is currently on your calendar. And so look at the next 3 to 5 days. All of those things that are on your calendar, period, like every single line item that's on there, create a sticky note or write those things down. And you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff. And then after you do that, I want you to write down all of the things that aren't on your calendar that you still have to get done, that you have committed to doing: the parties, the dinners, the lunches, whatever it is, those things that you know that you're going to make happen or that you have committed to. And maybe they are the things that you sometimes say, I will do this if everything goes right. And they're the first things for you to cancel on, like exercise, like going to bed early, like visiting the friend, like those super really important things. Those are the things we tend to deprioritize. So now that you've gotten all of those things out of your head, the calendar, all the things that are on your calendar and the things that are not on your calendar, but they are the commitments that you have made, the things that you have committed to other people and even yourself to getting done, we got to get them out of our head. Why? Because in our head, they are way bigger than they can be way bigger than they actually are, in terms of like how much stress and how much priority they should have, right? They're just things, and they're all jumbled up. There's these million things that we got to do, that we say we're going to do, that I said I was going to do, that I want to. So when we get them out of our head, we can look at them a little more objectively. And then when we bring in all the other stuff that, again, that's not on our calendar, we can really see like, oh my goodness, I got a bazillion things going on. No wonder I'm stressed out. No wonder I'm grouchy and grumpy with people. And now you're set up to go to the next part. And this is where we get into the selfish part. And like so many people that have been through the workshop, the selfish thing, it kind of like, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Like, ooh, I don't know about that. That doesn't feel good. But then after a while, it's like, oh, I understand. And so the whole being selfish part, it's a momentary thing. Unless you practice and you're good at being selfish, then hell yeah, keep doing it. But all I'm asking you to do is be selfish for this moment in time and on the workshop or when you're doing this. And so now you have all of your ideas, all of the commitments, again, that are on your calendar and that are not on your calendar. And then we're going to throw them in the firebox. And so what's the firebox? First, there's one rule to properly use the firebox. The rule is be ruthlessly selfish. Again, this is just for a moment in time. And this is based on my experience and several others that have been through this, the Make It Happeners alumni. In when we focus on investing in ourselves, valuing ourselves, taking care of ourselves to the same degree or better that we do others, we are better equipped to serve to the degree that we can. And so, yes, it's about being selfish for now, but for the purpose of serving others, right? Because we're investing in our number one asset, which is us. Anyhow, so now let me go back to the Firebox. Bam. All right. So here we are in the Firebox. Rule number one, be ruthlessly selfish for now. Okay. And all of the things that you have in your head that are over here in this little white box, all the things that were in your calendar, all the commitments that are on your calendar for the next 3 to 5 days, and the things that aren't on your calendar, but you know you have to deliver on. Now, what you're going to do is bring them over to the Firebox and take a ruthlessly selfish perspective. And so, if you've ever heard, who out there, give me a thumbs up, some hearts, some likes, or even some rolled eyes if you've heard of the Eisenhower Matrix. Because it's not a new thing. It's actually a pretty old, tried and true methodology. And it helps you identify or prioritize, categorize your task, your things based on urgency and importance. And so there's 4 boxes: top left hand, urgent and important. Top right hand box is important, not urgent. All right. Bottom left hand is not important, but urgent. And then the bottom right quadrant is not important and not urgent. And so using that framework, just that framework alone, really helps us assess and analyze all the things that we have going on and putting them in the appropriate bucket so that we can apply the necessary effort or take a specific strategy or set of steps to make things better for us, right? And so that's the basis of this. Now, the fire part comes in from how we think about it and what we do with what's in each quadrant. And so the urgent and important quadrant, these are the things that, like, they got to happen right now. And they're really, really important, again, to you, not to your boss, not to your significant other, not to the kids, not to the church, to you. Like, if you could live in a bubble, in a protective bubble, actually, I'm sending this protective bubble to you right now. You don't have to worry about anybody. Nobody is going to judge you. Nobody's going to critique you. Nobody's going to talk bad about you. So think of it from that perspective. If that was the situation, those tasks that you have over here in this little white bucket, right, in this white box here, I want you to put them here. If it's urgent and important to you, not to your mom, not to your sister, to you. Those things, you want to finish them. You got to get them done. They're urgent and important. Make them happen. Now, the super, super magical part is here in the important and not urgent. And what we want to do is we're working towards this self-first time mastery framework is designing and building in time, building in bandwidth for you to spend more time on the important and not urgent things. And here is why. When we ignore the important, it will always become urgent. And so what is important? What are some examples of these super important things that if we ignore them, they become urgent? Let me see. How about sleep? Anybody cut into their sleep or sacrifice their sleep so they can deliver on a project, so they can make stuff happen? Sleep is pretty damn important. I know that I will, like, cut into my sleep. I've pulled all-nighters before, not partying, but to get some work done, right? To deliver or fulfill a commitment that I made. How about exercise? Anybody cut exercise out because you got too much stuff going on? How about nutrition? Anybody stop by that fast food restaurant and get a super double, triple meat burger with cheese and all the good stuff because you didn't have time to cook or make a nutritious decision, or because you were like sprinting and just working, and all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're starving. So now you go pick something up. Now, when I ignore my sleep, my nutrition, and exercise, guess what? It becomes super damn important. My blood pressure goes up, cholesterol goes up, I become pre-diabetic. I know it's a little bit of an extreme perspective, but it's the same thing with, like, mowing your lawn. It's not urgent, it's important. But if you don't mow it, guess what? It's going to get out of control. Same thing with our personal relationships. It's not urgent, right? I could say, sorry, babe, can we reschedule dinner? But I keep doing that. It's an important thing, not urgent. And eventually I'm going to be on the chopping block. And so these are the things, the important, not urgent things that we want to carve out time, mine time from our schedule so we can invest, focus on the important, not urgent things. So again, the firebox, finish these things first. Anything that's urgent and important, just finish them. Get them out of the way. Urgent and important to you. If it's important and not urgent, like, there's no timeline, it's not a big deal. You were trying to invest more focus here. And now here's where the magic starts happening. Is down here, again, from a ruthlessly selfish perspective, you want to identify what is not important but urgent. Like, it's not important to you. If, like, you don't care if it happens. But man, you're gonna get some attention. Some people are gonna get their ruffles feathers. There's something there. They're like, man, but it really, really needs to get done. Right? Like for me, dishes, not important. But they become urgent when they start growing mold on them and this sort of thing, right? Hopefully you're not as gross as I am. And so what we want to do with anything that you put in that not important but urgent box is reduce that. And so then the question becomes is how do we reduce that? Well, we reduce it by optimizing the operation. And today with AI and all these chatbots, and there's all kinds of automations and ways to optimize the thing, whatever it is. Automate the thing, right? Similar to the optimize. Automate, digital automation. Optimize is more like how do we take steps out? How do we make it smaller so that it takes up less time? And then delegate. Duh, right? Because that is part of the original Eisenhower Matrix thing. But who can we give this to? Who could we hand it off to so that they can handle it while also building their capabilities in terms of problem solving and understanding their agency? It's again, when we're thinking about it from a totally selfish perspective, and we're looking at it like, okay, it didn't land in the urgent and important box to me. It's ruthlessly selfish. It's not in the invest or the important and not urgent. It's down here. It's not important, but it's urgent. We want to reduce it, optimize it, automate it, or delegate it. Again, that's a little bit redundant. Now, for the things, real quick reminder, that are over here in this big white box that were on your calendar for the next 3 to 5 days and in your head that you have to deliver on, that how you have to execute, but you forgot to put on your calendar. We're pulling that from that source and putting it in the firebox. And we're thinking of it just from our own perspective, not expectations outside of ourselves, just for me, myself, and I, and you. And we can identify things as not important, not urgent. And so how does that relate in the firebox? Extinguish those things. How can we get rid of them, get them off of our calendar? Because that's how we're going to create time. And so the way we extinguish those, the Eisenhower Matrix the way people generally interact with it is by saying, stop doing it, which I agree. Yes, stop doing it. But it's not that easy, right? We're very committed, assertive, ambitious people. And just to stop doing something is not the easiest idea in the world. And so then having a mitigation plan or some way to make that happen is important. And so the idea is this: how can you outsource it? If I'm going to stop doing it, but it still has to happen, how do I outsource it? Who can I outsource it to? I'll give you an example. Groceries. I do not like going to the grocery store at all. And so I found a delivery service. So I go online, I order my groceries, and they get all my groceries and they deliver them to me. Yeah, I pay a few extra bucks, but I get 2 to 3 hours back every single week that I'm not jacking around doing something I don't care about. It still has to happen. It's not important and not urgent to me because I can go to Uber Eats, right? Again, from my perspective, very important. The other thing you can do with the stuff that falls in there is have a conversation, especially when you have meetings with bosses or these big giant group meetings where everybody's copied on the meeting and you go to the meeting, you don't know what the hell you're there for. You're not contributing. You're not getting anything from the meeting. Have a conversation. Say, hey, what in the world? Why am I in this meeting? So that you can get that off of your calendar. And then, of course, the kind of generic thinking is just stop doing it, which I know is not that easy. We're going to go to the one slap in the face I want to leave you with. And that slap in the face is it's some real talk But what the purpose of it is really just to status check. Like for real, we talk a lot of smack about my time is my most valuable asset, but then in practice, we don't actually do it. Here is the thing I want you to think about, because we're talking a lot about our calendar and our schedule. If somebody were to come up to you and ask you for a complete stranger, hey, Sarah, hey, Jim, hey, Adam, hey, Alec, give me $100. We would most likely say, hell no, what the hell do you want it for? I ain't giving you $100. I don't even know who you are. Because we value, like our behavior indicates what we value most. Now, if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you got a minute? Can I bend your ear? Can I pick your brain? Or somebody sends you a calendar invite and you accept every damn calendar invite. That's an indicator. Like, we don't hesitate to give people that time. We don't hesitate to let people invade our calendar with things that you may not even have any idea about. But you won't give away $100, right? We pause, we challenge, we question the person asking for $100, but we don't pause, question, or challenge the person asking us for our time. So think about that. And also caution, because I know some people have taken this to an extreme and put themselves in a bind. And I get it. Like, I understand, like, you just got to be ready for the consequences of going too far. But think about that. Does your behavior actually communicate that you value your time as much as you value your money? Because next time we get together, we're going to be talking about daily execution with some tools and methods to like actually do that part of things, of valuing your time and valuing yourself, which is the way we transform our lives and everybody else's.